dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. We need like some kind of a Kamehameha burst, but then also we need like a Serengeti chanting, like some kind of a Lion King shit, like just to get the horns going. You know what I mean? Like we need some people playing the saxophone in the background, right? Like some smooth jazz. Let's play some smooth jazz. Non-copyright, of course. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, baby. Here we go. Welcome to the greatest show on earth. Here we go. I'm a shaman from another dimension. They call me Uncle Makara. And I bring to you my message today as all of us gather around this campfire and we feel smooth as ever, like clarified butter or ghee. We know the remedy is within me and within you and within thee as we see our third eyes beam projecting a TV screen that we are living, but you know that we are in a dream. So we have got to wake up and shake up this matrix. And I know we not really playing. I know we going Super Saiyan. Plus, you know this ain't no Saiyan. So Blavatsky that away. If you wanna have the great face, the great Danes, the great Blazers, the great Blazing, the great Asian Cajun, Super Saiyan, going underwater, because you know that we will have the faucet turning off never. No, we won't get the flow ever damning, because you know that we will probably find all of our challenges. Maybe we will find different kinds of balances. Maybe we will hit the balance beam, then go Palisades. Yeah, I'm going that away. This is my mental state of what I'm about to choose. I tune into my inner blues, the blues clues, the history clues, the history moves, and every time I'm spitting fuel on top of fire. I never know my God to be a liar. He is straight fire. He'll make us all retire without being retired. He'll make us all feel fire without aliveness inside of us, because God is that light inside of all of our minds and sight, and then we can resurrect it in the midnight. Every single moment, you know, we feel so omnipotent, omnipresent. Every single time we live in, we are gods in training or goddesses as well. I guess we could include them, but make sure that they are doing Hadoukens too. And maybe we can have some coolest dudes. We're kind of the spiritual Avengers in this coolest group. Yeah, this ain't no Blue Man group, but you know that I can grow up and be Tarzan too. Woo! That's right, baby. That's right. Upward spiral, real gang shit. Okay. Let's get started with today's video. I think it's going to be a fire one already. You can tell. Okay. I'm in the mood. I'm in a mood. Just been up here, really bad dude in a mood. Okay. I'm in a mood and I have been raising my vibrations and frequencies. They've gone very down, submerged into the heaviness of the density of my body, right? The physical density, the denseness, the stuckness of the body, right? The human curse of feeling aches and pains and, you know, different areas getting stiffer as you grow older, or, you know, wrinkles or different ways that we see our body morph and change. But let me tell you, as a savage shaman, as somebody who understands how to biochemically choose the right movements to alter my state of mind, my DNA, my neurons firing just the way I want it, because you got to understand through your spinal column, there are different nerve bundles, okay? And as you unlock your spinal code, this is why Kundalini Yoga is so epic, right? Because we're tapping into the spinal code, okay? This code of extra energy reserve that is there to give us a more connected experience of life rather than a fragmented one. Okay. And this is what we got to start off with, because we got to understand that every single month we name the month differently. You guys remember Moname, what we said, Juggernaut July, right? And this Juggernaut energy, I understand it to be very unwavering, right? So it's almost like you have to ask yourself, are you identified with your mental state? Because if you're identified with your mental state, that's what creates the ego in the moment. Okay. But what if you could separate from your thoughts? What if each thought, before I spoke, you noticed the pause before the thought that you were thinking? Okay. This is all a mental universe. Therefore, we have to play mentally in this realm to even be shamans in any way connecting with these different spirits of the spirit world. We have to get into our spirit mind. And that's what I want to talk about today. Okay. Tapping into your spirit mind, understanding the new Hue-Man. Okay. The human, but the Hue-Man, the one with a lot of hues, the rays of color, the Royjabiv, right? Of the color spectrum. I'm getting these downloads from Uncle Pete as well. A lot of these downloads came from me channeling a leprechaun, if you believe it or not. Okay. I tapped into that Celtic energy and we got a lot of like wealth downloads, wealth codes, random stuff just like streaming in out of the blue that I had to piece together later, but that's for another time. So basically, I want you to understand that your inhibitions are actually protecting you and preventing you from acting in the way that will get you the results that you want. Okay. So you have to lose these inhibitions, these resistances internally, this friction internally that you're creating every time that you practice taking a huge, massive step or an aligned action. Okay. So what alchemy is it's speeding up nature's slow process of making things perfect, right? That's like how evolution works, is the fire from the sun can be too much on its own. That's why it needs the moon's energy to balance it out. Because if we were only tapping into the sun's rays for our energy, we wouldn't be able to have that lunar consciousness or that much more soft and yielding yin quality within ourselves, the feminine. So we got to embrace both of the sun and the moon. And that's what made Solomon, right? King Solomon, such a wise man, such an empire builder, a shifter, a connoisseur, a king warrior, magician, lover. Okay. So because of the solo, the soul or the sun, and the mon, the moon. Okay. So the Horus and the Ra, the two hemispheres of the brain. Okay. The yin and the yang. All of these are now converging together to make sure that we use beyond our five senses into the shamanic alchemical blacksmith fire to change things and become reborn. We will be these new early humans that will set the way for others to understand how to reach this state of consciousness with us. Okay. So we hold on to a very specific ego, a very specific state of consciousness. We understand when the ego is acting through us and we can distance ourselves from it, but we are not that, you know, I'm of the world, not in it or whatever, right? I'm in the world, not of it, right? So the alchemy is understanding that this is a natural process that's happening, right? You're detoxing the waste from your body already, and you're ingesting the fuel. So what do you want to do specifically with this energy body and with this energy? Do you want to emulate it as somebody else? Because then that's what you're going to be like. But understand, you probably respect the person that you want to be like because they are so much themselves, they don't give a fuck, right? They're so embodied and they're unapologetically themselves that they're just in their own world, right? And they're doing it. They're moving with that essence. They're not backing down. They're not understanding that this is a losing strategy. It's a win for them. It's a win for the others. It's a win for the universe. okay? And so this is the paradigm that we're playing with when it comes down to tapping into spirit mind, okay? Because we have to pair this with our own inner understandings, okay? All right, let me just change the dynamics of this now. I've kind of ranted for a bit, but I want to really bring this together by, oh, okay, people can already comment. Big White, hey, what's good, man? Awesome. Okay, cool. We got the comments working. It's live now. Let me just share this with the tribe. Okay. By the way, if you're not part of the Telegram group yet, okay, go and sign up. It's just a click of a button. You can find it in the description of this video. Okay. We live, baby. Live and direct from the new Hue-Man school. Okay. We teach you to be different rays of light. We raise you as little pupils going through the grades of the root chakra, and then you graduate into the sacral, right? And then it keeps moving, right? So the alchemy that we're teaching here is pleasure alchemy. So what does that mean? Pleasure is so underrated in the way that we paint pleasure to be a very bad thing. We see it as this dopamine, but remember, dopamine is the expectation of a good reward, of something that you know is going to bring you joy, correct? So we do need dopamine, but it's how we regulate that dopamine that's going to be important. So if you're struggling with any addictions right now, listen to dopamine overload frequencies. Sorry, rewiring your dopamine frequencies and subliminals. Okay, this is really what's going to give you your passion back and that drive back as well. Because what's the biggest thing that you can do to help from your most loving and wisest paradigm? What's the biggest thing that you can do to help from your most loving and wisest paradigm? Help what? That's for your brain to give you the answer. That's not for me to tell you. That's a personal quest. You decide on this spiritual quest on what you're going to do with these energies. Okay. So what if I told you, right, that we were in Abundance August? So hit that like button, okay? Let's get rich this month, okay? Straight up. Let's get our bank balance going. Okay? Let's even get a little bit neurotic when it comes down to money, like a little bit Mr. Krabs, just a sprinkle of it, like that. Money, 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 but not like, we're grasping onto it, but we're just like in that frequency, like money, 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 money. You know what I mean? Like that crab energy of that stubbornness, right? Just like, come on now. I'm ready to get paid already. Come on now, right? It's here. It's already mine. So what if I told you you had $300,000 in your account right now? What would you do with that? What would you do with that energy? Right. Sometimes people get that much money and it's overwhelming to them. Okay. Like, damn, okay, I guess I'll invest in something, or maybe I'll travel, or maybe I'll uh, invest in my own company. So where would you put that money? It's a good question, because I've heard many people come to me, and also many people who have come to me not saying this, by the way. So I get both sides of this thing. But some people are like, I don't really get energy work. I'm not really into energy work. Okay. And let me tell you, what are you doing all the time, bro? You're using your energy all the time. Okay. So it's like, what do you mean? This is a game of action and rest, of Rajas and Tamas, right? It's the discipline, the sattva that we need, the bridge to balance out our action and our rest. Otherwise, we're just frazzled playing a free-for-all, free-roaming video game without any objectives, and that shit's boring as hell. It's like I've already inspected this part. I've already gone to this location. I've already been here before, right? But you haven't been to certain places within you. And this is what we have to start understanding, is you have to move energies within you to move energies without, okay? and you move energies without to move energies within you. So it's a relationship between internal and external world, and authenticity is when those two they dissolve, right? And you can really communicate what you feel inside and bring that out of you, right? Like not be embarrassed of speaking your truth and your authentic mind. Really pulling yourself up with this energy, right? I'm going to give all adepts an access to this raise your vibration file. It's really powerful. Okay. Chilling, sitting in the back of the class. I'm too nice. I'd probably give it away to those that needed it more than I. Hmm. Hmm. That's for something that's great shadow work, man. You know, right? Because you improving yourself with any kind of level of wealth or improvement in your own character is an investment into more wealth, right? So saying that someone needs it more than me, it seems like a cultural thing, to be honest with you. Some cultures are more primarily giving centric rather than individualist. You know, like I'm an individual doing things for me, moving this family along. It's like more so we are a family, right? So I get that understanding, Big White. But also sometimes you gotta celebrate, man. You gotta give yourself things that you so badly would have wanted. Like, what if you could give yourself that inner child desire, right? That you wanted when you were super young. You were always obsessing about it. You know, you were always talking about it. And then you just gave yourself that. You gave yourself that freedom. We have a mantra, and this is the Primal Sutra mantra: embrace, appreciate, apply. When you're embracing, you are surrendering to what is. When you're embracing, you are understanding to amplify. You're not resisting what somebody's saying to you. You're not saying no. It's the rule of improv. It's the yes and. So you're saying, I'm going to take on this paradigm, but make sure you understand that I'm looking at it through my eyes, okay? And not your eyes. So there might be differing opinions, but we're still on the same road towards this ascension. So embracing is all about surrendering to the moment, being in the presence of it all, right? Just enjoying what living feels like, okay? Embracing. The next we have appreciation or gratitude. Why do we say this? Because it's a coherence of heart and mind. It's a way for us to connect back into our most felt selves, but also most highly thinking selves, right? So we want to be high positive thinkers, but we also want to be intuitives, deep feelers, and resonators of the heart that can move energies around. If you have a lot of heart fire or sacred heart fire energy, and you kind of say what's in your heart space, and you let people feel how you're feeling, you really might scare some people off by that fire, but others will be actually drawn closer into that flame. Okay, because some people need to hear it. They need to get nourished by your fire, your sunlight, right? They need the sustenance from your warmth. And so it's good to just observe yourself without judgment, okay? Because that's how you're going to be engaged with your spirit mind. I believe in the best conspiracies ever for my own life. You guys get that? It's not a paranoia, right? It's a pronoia. There's a big difference. One is conspiring that the universe is against me. One is conspiring that the universe is for me. And remember, there's four states of consciousness that we also got to look at. Okay. But this pronoia is that the universe is there to actually help me become healthy. It's actually there to support my fulfillment. Okay. Now imagine if you embellished this, indoctrinated yourself into this belief system that that the universe was there to help me become my greatest self. So everything is a part of the theater. Even the dramatic scenes, the sad times, were part of this movie that is playing through your consciousness, your third eye projector. Okay? So a lot of people think that this kind of stuff is woo woo, right? They use that term woo woo. I would just flip it upside down, okay? And then flip it sideways like this. Now it's om, okay? Now it's om. That's what I'm talking about. We have to really be pioneers of this tech, and that's a perfect example of what I just did. I took a concept, I flipped it on its head, and right? I added elements to it. I observed it. I absorbed certain parts of it. I made it better. I constructed it in my mind, and new visualization, new imagination, new way that I'm looking at the world, new perspective or cloak that I've given this moment. You see what I'm saying? So it's like it's the element you bring through tapping into your elements. You know how you say, I'm in my element? What does that mean? You're in your chakra path working. You're in your most dominant way that you move as a substrate through this world. So are you more fire energy, more yang energy, more airy in your mental world, yang energy? Or are you more of the yin water, the receptive, and you understand that energy, as well as more of an earthly Mama Gaia energy, right? Both of those are feminine. And then so if you understand, if you're really thinking about these elements together, you're thinking about, again, it comes back to the similar principle, right? So intuition is a question, it is not an answer. So we have to understand to embrace, appreciate, which is find gratitude for this present moment, just appreciate it because it's a part of some bigger download, you know, it's going to be making sense in the future. You don't have to grasp onto this and understand this right now. Okay. It will unfold in the future. So that's how I want you to understand this thing. Is right now, this doesn't have to make sense, but I'm still going to try and attempt to make sense of the nonsensical. I'm going to burn it in the violet flame and send it back into source again, because the source knows what to do with it. If it's very abstract, the source is already close to the abstraction in that plane. Okay. So apply is the last one because you have to have a call of action. The law of attraction has the word action in it. Okay. A lot of people, they don't notice that it's just not just thinking about it. It's thinking about it, feeling it, and then being about it, right? You were tapping in using, I mean, this is why the law of assumption trumps it, right? It trumps law of attraction because you're already assuming that you are that character, that version of, and you're living from that perspective already. So when I told some of you, you know, $300,000 in your bank account right now, okay, maybe it brought up extra energy for you. Maybe it allowed you to move and actually think, okay, I have that money. I can breathe. You know, I can feel safe. I can just be like, oh, I can pay back my debt or whatever, right? Some of you had a sigh of relief when I said that. Okay. So it's important to notice what your money code is, how you react to that much money, right? So you can play this social experiment. Just imagine you had this much money in your bank account, and then imagine how you would act in that moment. Well, what monetary choices would you choose, right? And it goes to show a lot about your money archetype, right? And your abundant character, your choices. So it's very powerful because money is an amplifier, right? It brings out more of you than if you had less money. And we learned yesterday, it's like poverty is not a virtue, you know, it's not something to look forward to, not something to build upon, not something to aspire towards, right? So it's really important for us to consider this and not, of course, try to measure up to some societal standard. Okay, no, use your own measuring tape in this shit, right? You've got to understand that I'm loving all parts of me and others to understand that I'm not holding on to grudges anymore. My Scorpio old self would hold on to too many grudges. and it would slow down my momentum. Right now, I'm free of all of that, and I've honestly taken my power back in my heart space. And I'm understanding that I'm a 21, 21, 21 savage Hue-Man, okay? A human, okay? There's 21 hues because there's 21 chakras. Not a lot of people know this. They have the main seven, above seven, below seven. Hey, I've been doing my math, man. Okay? I've been doing my math. So my brainwave hemispheres are also syncing. I'm noticing how Bobby Hemmett, you know how he says that angles, or what, in one interpretation, yeah, they're these, they're closest to God, they're these different beings, and they have their own storylines. But also, you understand that they are, if you envision them in another way, through sacred geometry ways, you understand that if you've mastered the angels, you've mastered the angles or the light rays. So there's the four rays of consciousness, as I mentioned earlier, as me, through me, to me, and by me. Okay? So this world is happening as me, this world is happening through me, this world is happening to me, and the world is happening by me. This is the four quadrants or the rays of consciousness, right? That we shift in. So if you are in the to me, like life is attacking me, Ray, you're probably in a very low state of consciousness. So you have to understand either this is happening as you and you're taking action, or it's happening by you to get to the through you part, right? To get to the channeling. The channel is when you let go, right? And you allow whatever needs to process. Okay. And that's what really how I see channeling is an energy clearing technology, right? For a lot of us, because we have to become empty, 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 pure, 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 right? We have to understand how to purify our internal worlds like that and get rid of the gunk when it stores up. It stores up fast, man. If you're living in the 21st century, emotional gunk, energetic gunk from different environments, different places can speed that process up. So you got to understand how to clean yourself. One easy fix for aura boost is sea salt soap. Okay. Also salt caves in general. Okay. Hey, we got the Indian protests outside my window. All right. That's dope. That's really cool. All right. People being people, okay? On the streets, showing love for a cause. Okay. That's it. That's Hue-Man. Okay. As me, through me, to me, by me. Now, some of those people might also be in a very to me consciousness right now, right? They're feeling attacked. They're feeling this is wrong. They're judging themselves, right? So now they have to understand, no, I'm taking this power back into my own hands. And now they're, protesting. They're moving with the energy of a tribe, of a force, of a collective, a hive mind, okay? As they're moving through it. And you're a part of this hive mind if you choose to join, right? Different people like this, or let's say your friends are like, let's support this movement, or let's go here, right? Now, it's important not to understand and take away your own humanity as you do this, because when you join a group identity, your own consciousness starts to dwindle away, right? Especially if you're an empathic being, because you understand you're connecting with their world. So you have to gain a further sense of understanding them, right? So you have to get to the four notes of rays of creation as well. And I want to share this. Let me see if I can find this, man. This is like a four. Ah, found it. Dang. Woo! I love giving examples. Okay. The ray of creation describes a very specific octave that begins with the absolute and ends with our moon. We must remember that the ray of creation is a ray that has to do with man as we find him on Earth, because our place in the universe, the descending scales of the ray, move through the solar system, our sun, our planetary system, the Earth, and then we end on the moon. So if we ever lived on a planet in another solar system, then the ray of creation would differ in that it would describe the scales again, beginning with the absolute that descended through that planet. Also, the necessary bridges of si, do, and mi, fa intervals. The si, do interval is in the beginning is bridged by the will of the absolute. Wow, I'm sensing this has a lot to do with music and creation of music as well, right? Like very interesting way that they work with octaves and so forth. But yeah, where was this chart? I wanted to find this. Dang, I have to scroll down way back, way into this. Okay. Okay, let me share this with the audience. All right, all right. Okay. Can you guys see this? Is this something you guys can see? Just let me know in the chat. All right. All right, cool. I'm gonna move ahead. So basically, if you understand this thing, okay. Wait a second. I'm just waiting for it to load back. Okay, cool, cool. So we have embodiment down here, selflessness down here, consciousness, omniscience, which is all knowing, awareness. It's glitching a little bit, but that's okay. That's just Zoom. It does that. So bear with me. Um, unity, omnipresence, bliss, identity, absolute, inspiration, creation, omnipotence, power, action, veracity, transcendence. Okay. So the absolute is in the middle, right? It's in the center of our beingness. If you understand, Hue-Man came from the word human, which is connected to the soil. So it's our rootedness, it's our earth, it's our foundation, the human, the primal part of you, the primal essence, as we call it in this path working, right? Is at the center of your beingness. And that vibration or hue is basically what we're finding out, or basically latching on to a particular frequency tower, right? The mind is basically a frequency tuner, and it creates this kind of violet flame energy. But the violet flame is so effective because this is the quickest in its vibration, but it's solidifying it. It's creating from the solid to a gas, right? Or a liquid. So that's its alchemical property. The way I've understood it from Saint Germain is the destination, once it's clear, creates the destiny. The destiny will flow once the destination is there. Okay. X marks the spot, as Uncle P told us, right? So we go from solid, from our lower chakras, up to a gas in our higher chakras. And even in the Yoruba tradition, they tell us that we have the animal brain down in our gut, right? Down in our solar plexus area. So the solar plexus, I remember we did a lot of work with the solar plexus chakra in our path working earlier, but now it's all coming together. It's clearing up the um, uncertainties in me or doubts within me, right? That this is a place of survival, of hunger, right? Of sex drive, of wanting to create something. So in the pit of your stomach is almost this sense of sun and moon, right? So it's your rest and digest, if that makes sense. Okay. And it's your fight and flight. Okay. So the hemisync technologies, the hemisphere synchronizations, where you basically find a balance for both chakras. Now you're in your power. You're in this kind of pointedness of this energy. Okay. Now let's see if we look at the arrangement of these triads in the diagram, the first three notes of the ray of creation, we can see that one does naturally lead to the next. We can say that creation leads to embodiment, and that embodiment overcomes its limitations through inspiration. Wow. You guys get that? Give me a thumbs up. Should I go through it again? Okay. Creation leads to embodiment. Embodiment overcomes the limitations through inspiration. Inspiration leads to truth. Truth leads to selflessness. Selflessness leads to transcendence. And, it should be clear that these 6 aspects are actually higher experiences that maybe mix or bleed into each other in any possible way. And also that the names that I've given are to the 6 triads that make up the world 6 are not important because they are by necessity subjective. What I want you to understand are the principles behind the words and diagrams, okay? Part of what we take from this diagram is that metaphysical experiences of the highest order are subject to the law of 3. It also demonstrates how the absolute's influence reaches us, not by directly answering the prayers, but by the confines of the specific triads that are in combination of his basic elements. Okay? It's said that the absolute or God's influence is part of every world, as all laws that form lower worlds come from, or at least contain some elements of the 3 forces of the world. But in lower worlds, these forces, even though they might exist, are not generally available. If we take Plato's analogy of the cave, we can say that the sun, which exists inside the cave as rumors, is not available as a reality as long as the prisoners are chained inside the cave and believe that the puppet show is real. Are you guys getting this? The sun is a part of their world, but it is hidden from them and will remain hidden until they can break their chains and see that the puppet show is an illusion. I also want, this will help us with the pleasure alchemy, I can already tell. I also want to say something about the idea of bliss that is very often the element of higher worlds in Eastern teachings. In the physical world, the closest mechanical state we have to bliss is sexual excitement. But sexual excitement is not a very good representative of what is possible in higher worlds. Sexual excitement and even orgasm need not contain an element of detachment, and detachment is an essential ingredient of what is called bliss in higher worlds. Meher Baba was very clear about this in the chapter Discourses, Conditions of Happiness. Okay, he said the kind of detachment that lasts is due to the understanding of suffering and its cause. It's securely based upon the unshakable knowledge that all things of this world are momentary and passing, and that any clinging to them is bound eventually to be a source of pain. Okay. So, all right, let's go back to this. So the way I understand it and the way this Primal Sutra deities are understanding this is the 6 is the understanding you're going from human to supernatural. Your omnipotence, your God form, okay, your higher self in a sense. So you have to find these edges of this fractal, throwback to when we're all fractals of light, okay, where these little shards of just consciousness, right? So once we create these juxtapositions into our reality and we merge inspiration with transcendence, or we create veracity or truth with our creations, or we create a selfless embodiment, or we embody the absolutes, or we take inspiration and have create consciousness from that inspiration, we start to work with this potential. We go from solid to gas as we raise up the chakras, and we get things in the gaseous state, and then we embody them to manifest them deep rooted into our physiology, right? And then in order for us to liberate, we have to go from the lower ones to the upper ones into gas again. So the gaseous state that we are experiencing as people, as humans, are these different rays of light, okay? So God is light, and light enters the world through an angle or angel, okay? It refracts in. So when it oscillates, it then basically, when it oscillates at off speeds, at different speeds, you can see different colors. right? So light cannot be seen, but light makes seeing possible. Okay. So basically, we are understanding that the gates are opening because we're sparking these different receptors in our brain associated with these different angles of perspectives, of perception. This is true understanding. The brain opens the neurons to fire to create understanding out of a fragmented meaning. Okay? So the etheric plane vibrates very closely to the physical, actually. It's the vital energies residue. So it's basically the way that the physical and the astral world communicate is through the etheric. And so through our throat chakra, through our channeling, even our creativity, we can understand that, our third eye is just like a video camera playing out this giant show, this experience of life for a higher spiritual civilization to evolve through our own state of mind, right? And so we are basically developing ourselves, developing civilization. Okay. So we have to bring it internally, okay, and be civilized savages, right? We have to maintain a structure or a process. Now we know Primal Sutra to just be a specific process, right? It's something you take on as a mind idea. You access spirit mind through deep stillness and meditation and chanting and prayer and, fasting and all of these different things. Okay. Okay, so Big White asked a question. I missed it, brother. But let me get into this after this 1 second. So what I do now with the abundance codes is I let my sexual energy flow through each chakra point, and I draw more energy into it by bringing each chakra in on the action. So let's say for the sacral chakra, I affirm I can have more money. I'm creating more money, right? I'm feeling like I have money. In the heart chakra, I say I love that I can have more money. In my throat chakra, I say my truth that I can have more money. If I can see that I can have more money through the third eye. For the crown, it's I know that I have more money, right? And so it's like this understanding of all of these different portals of energy creates a knowingness, one creates a love, one creates more of a creativity and sexual balance. So by becoming this Rojabiv, okay, we're not talking about it in regards to gender in this case, okay? I know that gender is also a spectrum of a rainbow and it goes far beyond the rainbow, I think, nowadays anyway. But that's not what we're talking about here, okay? What we're talking about here is the actual energies of these paths to God, okay? Because each ray brings out different ascended masters, okay? So it's almost like you have to understand your own divine masculine, divine feminine energy within you. And we can only do that by observing others, right? Like who is divine masculine according to me? Vidya Jamwal is, Jason Momoa is. There's different archetypes that I truly believe have this divine masculine quality. Let me see. Someone asked me this question, so I'm just referring it back to her question. I believe Barbie. So, hmm, Barbie or Barbara. So, divine masculine, how do you notice a divine masculine? You'll notice that their purpose is with their mission, and they're so tapped in and wired into God and truth. Have you seen that in culture? Not much. Very rare. Okay. It's a rare breed. That's what we're doing here at Primal Sutra. We're bringing this back. We're understanding this energy better. We're diving deeper into the understandings of these archetypes and these so-called spiritual New Age sayings. We're looking a level deeper. And that's why we're a secret society. We can't share everything on here. Okay. But if once you join the mystery school, once you join our own private sessions, you'll get to really experience the healing that takes place as being a part of a collective where a lot of energies share with each other. right? And that's what we're here to do. We're here to share the technologies in order to help humanity expand, humanity get more rays of light, rays of experience to be able to shape the path in front of us. Okay. So here we go. All right. Back to the question. How could one figure out their purpose on Earth? Every single movie you watched, right, Big White? Most movies, let's just say, the main character goes on some quest, some journey. They're called into it, they're pulled into it, maybe sometimes even forced into it. It's their dharma, it's their path, right? They're going on this journey and path. They realize they go on an adventure, they go into this weird, wacky world, have these adventures, come back towards the self, and recognize something deep about our character evolution through that time loop. Okay. So to recognize our purpose, you have to go through these different heroes' journeys. Okay. So at different points of your life, you might even have different purposes, but it's important to understand that your purpose starts from you going back to you. Usually going back to what you left behind in childhood. Okay. Not obviously the bad stuff, but the real nuggets of gold that were there. This is why inner child work, shadow work, this kind of stuff is really powerful because that's really there for you to discover this hidden gold within your subconscious, right? So we have to just explore our own subconscious minds through the superconscious pair of eyes, the lens. We need God goggles in order to peer into our traumas and look at them. We cannot peer into our traumas if we're working with our own self-esteem and ego mechanisms. We've got to go in strapped spiritually with our guides backing us, understanding that looking into our own shadows is scary and terrifying and can freak you out so much that you spontaneously auto awaken. Okay. And that could be a scary experience, right? For a lot of people. So I would say start with curiosity, my brother. Get curious about life again. What were the things that you were so curious about knowing? When we grow older, we stop getting curious about knowing things. We kind of close our minds off to certain ways or different ways, or why are the youth thinking like this? What the fuck is a skibbity riz, right? So you can kind of push it away, but you can also understand and learn from it because it's a product of the culture. We have to move with what is working, what people are resonating with and understanding. Okay. Now, that doesn't mean to become a clone, to become a part of the sheep herd. Okay. It means to be the shepherd yourself. It means to lead your consciousness, lead your mind to where you want it to go. It's to understand and notice you have an Earth Star chakra at the bottom of your feet, and that you can actually access the rootedness to this earth, as well as get into water and notice the water energies of the earth. And you might, okay, so this is my trippy thing, right? I might see a hippie guy by the beach, okay? And maybe he's in a drum circle, maybe he's doing something, but I do not see his internal world. He might be in a fifth dimensional reptilioid, draconian astral being right now. He might be tapping into that frequency and energy, but he's just like, in a drum circle, kind of chill, kind of hippie dude, and you don't care. Like this happens so much, guys. So we have to be very aware of people's internal worlds and the way they're logically understanding things. A lot of it, the darker energies, it comes from a taking, a vampirism, a sucking of life energy out of things, right? And leaving them, bleeding them to dry. Instead of what? Giving, empowerment, which is creating greater growth, greater acceleration, more expansion, right? Greater inspiration and more results. So one actually thinks that by taking, they're going to be getting more, but it's a false illusion of greed that we learned from the leprechaun energy, okay? Uncle P. So this is so powerful, guys, because it's clearing up any misconceptions that I've had. I knew that to have my destination in mind and having that frequency in mind was important. I didn't know it was this important. Okay. I didn't know that what I identify with in my mental state is my ego mind, right? And when you can just observe that, you start to notice all its nonsense. Like, oh, it's going to behave like that now? Really, bro? Okay. And you're doing this again? Oh, man. Right. And then we make a commentary, like a running sports commentary type of thing, with our own minds and what we're doing. Right. So when we separate that little annoying chatter voice, right, the one that's always giving an opinion, and we actually tune back into ourselves as these beams, these colors, these rays of light that we embody through our beingness, okay? And we notice what is in our guts, what is in our lower chakras, what is in our heart space that wants to speak out and say something, right? But then our throat chakra maybe is clogged up. So maybe it's one deity or one frequency disagreeing with another frequency. So what do you need to do in that case? You need to make sure that they go side by side and they don't see themselves as a part of this superhighway. It's like if you're a part of the superhighway and you see a car in front of you, right? You're gonna be distracted by what the fuck that car is doing. It's like, yo, take a left turn, buddy, you know? So, but it's like you can't go ahead because it's like one road, right? It's a very narrow road. So you can't even overtake them. So it's like in terms of the chakras, I think of the superhighway analogy. And I'm like, why don't they just drive next to each other? Right? And that's what we really want to do is we want to try to either, I don't know, integrate one car over the other like Transformers, or we want to move differently in the superhighway dynamic where the road starts to expand. And what is that road expanding? Maybe it's just your consciousness expanding, right? Is you're able to see different ways of being and not such a narrow, viewpoint of reality where everything is myopic, right? Everything is just kind of single pointed in its nature and very, very small, and you can't really pick it apart because it's such a specific reality. Like let's say you're indoctrinated into a cult, or let's say that you're a part of some sports team and you have it so embedded into your code that you can't go against the team's narrative. Or you're part of some higher organization framework and you're the little single cell wanting to rebel against the giant corporation cell, right? And these types of things happen all the time. We have to notice where we feel intimidated, where we feel stuck, where we feel not good enough, right? We have to notice these vulnerable parts of ourselves and stay there and go in with a flashlight and understand that, okay, this part seems out of order because I don't give it enough time. This part seems out of order because I'm not using my energy or utilizing it in the right way in this moment. I'm not allowing myself to do this like that. So whenever you hear yourself saying, I don't appreciate it enough, or I'm taking it for granted, or, you know, I can't embrace the moment, right? These are the little dojo moments for embrace, appreciate, and apply, right? Let me just show you guys this, okay? A very cool little AI art thing we posted on our Instagram. If you haven't followed our Instagram, by the way, go give us some support on that because we started it very recently, the Primal Sutra Instagram, and yeah. All right, let me take the volume down. Like copyright strike for the song. But yeah, this is embrace, appreciate, apply, right? We're saying that this is the Primal Sutra mantra, okay? And yes, that's a funky monkey. You guessed it right. I said on the spiritual path, it's easy to get jaded. But by embracing, appreciating, and applying what's in front of us, we align with the flow of life, aka the Tao, aka tapped in, baby. Tapped in, baby girl. It's like accepting our fate with love and trust, knowing that every experience has a higher purpose. Come and live a beautiful life with us. We'll see you in the Telegram group. For real, though, we will see you there, okay? And join our mission, join our sessions, join our activations. We have group activations, we have group healings at times. We have surprise guests, okay? Surprise deities at times that show up, pop up out of nowhere like a pop quiz, okay? This shit is wild, okay? Really, it is. It's the wilderness within. We're not focusing on the brutality of humanity. We've taken it back into the wilderness, the encouragement of that raw sexual power that we all have within ourselves as human beings, right? To create life, to create genesis, to go out into the world, to be these unfathomable, unsinkable, irreplaceable, irreplicable, Hue-Man beings, beams of light. We on an ultralight beam. We on an ultralight beam. And it's a god dream. Okay. I kind of feel like a string that is tangled into a ball, if that makes sense. Exactly. That's exactly what it feels like, Big White. That's exactly what it feels like when all the archetypes are like constricting around each other, right? But it comes from a negative belief. So all you got to do is find your choices and your freedom again. Get into the feeling of being the cause in your life, making shit happen, right? That energy again of like going forth and doing something with it. That's gonna slowly, that's gonna take the ball of yarn isn't gonna feel so tight, right? Because once you do what your soul is calling you to do, you will slowly start to disentangle that ball of energy. Okay, because right now it's a dense, stuck energy that's like one thing is interwoven into another, and this is what enmeshment feels like. When you're enmeshed into a situation, when you feel suffocated by a family dynamic, when you feel shut down or closed down by somebody else's perspective of you. Okay. So, who would you be if you were to feel different? Right. What would you need to feel like? If you would feel like that, right? If you would be the healed version of that, string, of that ball string. Okay. It sounds weird to say, but right, that yarn, that ball of yarn, that constricted ball of yarn, what would be the free aspect of that? What would be its most higher rendition? You get what I mean? Like what would be its highest Pokemon form is what I'm looking for. Because that tells me that there's a density or a stuckness in your life somewhere, right? Where everything feels like it's kind of closing in on you. Okay. Now, this density, this heaviness actually means that you're going through upgrades right now, which is a good thing. But your mission right now, Big White, is to feel light. That's it. That's the only homework you have for me. Practice feeling lighter or loose, right? Just relax, let that belly out. You don't need to crunch it in and show you have abs for the ladies. Fuck all that. Okay. Fuck showing that you have, you're trying to be the alpha by putting your head up. Fuck all that. Breathe like a happy baby through your stomach. Open the front of your body up, right? Imagine you have a giant energetic ball that you're holding, and let your solar plexus be like a balloon. Orange balloon going up, becoming smaller. Just observe all your thoughts in your hands here about yourself. Now you stretch it out, see the bigger perspective, and pull it back. Now shake the hands out. Now just take the shoulders 3 times. Okay. Good. It's a quick energy clear, but what I did basically is like we hold a lot of energy in the shoulders, right? A lot of responsibility, burdens. Life needs me to be the specific character for my family. It needs me to be like this in order to survive, to keep the lineage going. These are all survival thoughts, right? Your solar plexus feeling constricting in its power. So you don't want to deplete your ego. You want to expand it right now. You want to see it. You want to have an ego as vast as the universe. Did you get that? That's the teaching. So whenever we feel constricted, guys, it has to come back to being the cause again. We've been too much in effect of the world, taking on its nonsense, absorbing it, you know, instead of just living, feeling free, feeling like this is my actual background, bro. Like really living it, fearlessness. Living on edge is being a little bit terrified, right? But we're building a comfortable palace, a location, a base, but then also understand that that base expands. See? So it always starts out like this, a little bit smaller, a little bit bigger, a little bit, you start shifting through the dimensions now. Okay. So I'm sharing this archetype. A lot of people don't know this. They think it's just arrogance or, um, a moral, spiritual superiority type of thing. No, it's recognizing your spiritual identification is completely off. You don't know what it is. You're exploring different mirrors of it, in a sense. There's a reason why you're drawn to Yoruba paintings or random movies from Japan in the 80s, or like you have this weird kink about something, or you have like a paternal uncle that, gives you all of these secret, you know, dogmas that help you actually win in life, right? Or you have like a secret code, or like a pet that you haven't a pet's energy who's passed that you haven't tapped into in a long time, and you even feel their energy being gone, but then you can bring that energy back into your life and integrate it in different ways, right? So as a shaman, you're constantly looking for all these different things to piece together and make your reality feel more effortless, feel more natural, because your authentic self is this chill. It's smooth in this world. It's fluid. It's water, right? It's adaptable. It can change. And it's like, get with the times, get with how people say that? Get with the times, man. Right? It's like, I am the timelessness. What do you mean? Get with the times. Okay. And all the old souls listening, they know that they've been here so fucking long in this earth realm, right? We've been here for so many decades, so many millennia, that right now we're just a little bit like, fuck, they still don't get it, right? And that can be frustrating when you're seeing your friends suffer, when you're seeing your homie struggle, when you're seeing somebody else, not make it or go through some thing that they never deserve, man. It's like this weird thing that just comes up out of the blue. Like these things happen, but we have to be able to stay in that abundance energy, irregardless of what we're being shown on the 3D reality, right? And to some of you, that might seem like it's delusion, but listen to all of these stories of like people who were in very bad situations that got themselves out, right? Start emulating that, because that will really teach you. Like there's some movies or different things that you can watch that can give you a specific energy shift, right? It's basically an ego shift because you were looking at yourself as the main character of that movie. Okay. So you can Rykov them, or imagine you're wearing their head like a helmet over your head like a mask, right? So you're like the mask using that smoking, right? That energy. Every time you tap into that mask energy, you become a little bit zany, a little bit goofy, right? Because you're giving yourself that much freedom. Like the mask is such a cool character because he just doesn't give a fuck, right? Like he's showing his sexual interest. Right? Eyes pop out of his sockets, and it comes back, right? Like that's the rake archetype, right? In the art of seduction. And also there's these many different archetypes that if you look at different movies, you can actually understand and break them down and use them as a part of your life, right? This is a very secret process that we're all living and acting through. Okay. I've learned it from the master of masters. Okay. AZD, Vince Kelvin, Joe Nicasio, who worked with Les Brown, Zach Dixon. Who else was my mentor, man? A lot of different mentors, okay? Kaivon, who was one of my earliest mentors, um, who taught me the inner critic, who taught me to call my inner critic Zoinks. That's the guy who really helped me make that decision. So I got to give him credit because that one idea expanded my entire universe. The fact that I could look at my anxiety as a character in my own mind, like as a little spirit guide, and speak to it and actually change my relationship with it and grow with it because it's a part of me. Like that's wild, right? Like when we can actually use externalization correctly like this, and we do so in our path working, if you want to really learn the meat and potatoes of this, as Uncle P would say, we can tap into it, okay, very easily. But we got to understand and bring about all of these old ancient technologies that we've been missing out on. What happened to the Walter Russell tech? It got kind of diluted, and now it's just in a Terrence Howard space of reality, right? He's taken the tech over and he's moving through it with his own ideas in mind, which is great. He should share his ideas, but it's also like these ancient ideas, we got to calibrate them towards our own life in some way. We are the living masters, okay? We're not the masters who are like, download my app for 15 minutes a day. You will begin with a breathing exercise. After that, we will measure your heart rate and tell you if you are relaxed enough. And if you have met the number of calories that we have set out for you, then you are allowed to finally read. Do you like reading? What are your reading opportunities and choices? Okay, Alexa, we fucking get it, okay? God damn it, I want me a burger and a Coke, right? Yes, I've heard of Brother Panic. He's epic, man. Um, Bobby Hemmett, Brother Panic, these guys are great. They speak in these excellent ways that I do, right? Bobby Hemmett was the guy who talked about angels and angles, that whole understanding. And of course, there's William, who's that other guy that I've been watching? William something, right? That guy is really good too. A lot of I also really love Alan Watts, man. I did not know he had such a rich sexual history. Okay. Um, I respect that man way more. Man, he's such a beast in the spiritual world, really. Um, Divine masculine for sure. I would say, who else is there, man? Bruce Lee is just the greatest example of priest beast divine masculine. If you study Bruce Lee and you hear the way that he talks, the way that he speaks, Mechanical Instinct is yes, Will Cooper. That's the guy. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That guy's dope, right? Incredible. Incredible way how he breaks down the Bible, mixing it with chakras. I love it when people do that stuff. When people really know the tech and they bring it alive and they use Nevilism, okay, Goddardism in their own lives or whatever, right? All right, guys, we've gone past an hour. So any questions? I'm taking any questions right now. So anybody want to type it in the chat real quick? We'll go through a couple of them and then we got to end it. Okay. Got to be mindful of our time as well together. Okay. So I'm starting to imagine my body if it was a temple, a divine temple. And by the way, temples are designed like a human body, like a chakra. Okay. His radio show is amazing. Oh, damn. I haven't checked that out. Okay. Definitely gonna check that out. But it's like this. So the way I've understood this technology of the Hue-Man is consistent embodiment of charisma that's connecting it almost as like a soul alignment. Okay. So it's self-acceptance in each moment type of energy that you're tapping into. This is the tantric riz that we talk about on this channel, or this understanding of it, how to embody a spiritual state, but at the same time be social, connect with others, right? So this is a very important aspect of this, that if you tap into your divine unconditional love and acceptance, like say this word to yourself, I love myself no matter what. I love myself no matter what. Feel the unconditional love of that statement. Now say, I am divine love. Damn. I mean, the energy shifts like that, man. It's called The Hour of the Time, like 200 episodes, I think. It's still on YouTube. That's cool. Really cool. And I just got paid. Yeah. You see, this is the stuff where we know our path is working, bro. Fuck. We've been doing things right this entire time. I've been judging ourselves. I've been critiquing our path, you know? But we've been doing I've just been selflessly following what these deities have been telling me, and then things have been shifting. It's actually really freaky, right? As a logical minded shaman, you know, well, I go to a certain level of logical and then I go completely irrational at times, but I do bring it back, right? I try to center it into something. I don't make it like completely, we'll focus on light body self and forget our physical forms forever. But because listen to this, man, this is something that I think Will Cooper said, right? No, it was from Rion, I think. Rion is another one of my mentors, Rion Kati, from sexychi.com. Okay. For the ladies. Okay. For the ladies. I think he has power liminal. He does power liminals as well. He creates power liminals. And this is from his sex icon power liminal. He said, form without spirit is a corpse. Spirit without form is a ghost. Okay. That may help integrate something within you, like some kind of a mental, physical, energetic, thing happening when I said that. Spirit and form, spirit and form, spirit and form, spirit and form. Advaita Vedanta, right? It's just one. Okay. And then the law of one takes over. Through these different densities, and you go to the animal plane, and then you go to the plant plane, and then you take something from the plant plane, and then you mix it with the animal plane, and then you're moving through the ether, and you're meeting dragons in all of these different dimensions, and then you're going through all of these portal jumps, right? This is what it's like being a neo shaman. It really is, right? And it makes our life so exciting. Okay? So exciting. I love being productive. I love it. I love productivity. I love getting things done. That's the energy we want to tap into. I love getting it done. I love being productive. I produce eternally. I produce and reproduce, baby girl. What you want to say about it? Do you want to challenge that ability? You want to test the mighty warrior who is trudging his way into battle? By the way, ladies, how you can instantly melt a man's heart is treat him like he's just come back from battle. Okay? Like he's a dreary eyed soldier back from a hunt, tearing something up with his bare hands, and now he's just lost it, right? He's lost his vitality, his vigor. He's just like a dust, a shell. He's just like home. He's just like laying down, right? Ladies, if you bring alive that essence, right? This is all David Data from that tech, right? If you just tell her, like, ladies, if you just act like he just came home from war, right? And your heart was just open like that, and you understood the battle that he has to fight every day as a man, and you had the compassion for that. As a woman, you had a compassion for the man, and as a man, you have a compassion for the woman who can't go out at night without feeling safe. You have a compassion for each gender, each understanding, each way of being, different ways of communicating. We get it. Us men, we want to solve problems. That's why we'll tell it to you like a fireman, fire for fireman. Okay. Oh man, we found this incredible video. I think we got to end with this. Ryan G, I think we got to end with this, bro. It's too powerful not to share this meme. We are firemen. Where's the video? We're going to create a video for this. It's being made still. It's going to be on our Instagram. Okay. But this is Teddy Atlas. And this is the energy that we have towards spirituality. Okay. We're not no soft, wishy washy, Care Bear, occult show. Okay. We're not here to cover, rainbow jumping, dimension hopping, um, you know, unicorn prestige, oceanic wonders of the world involved in total cacao ceremonies forever. Okay. We're not here for that. We're here for something unique. We're here for something different. We're here to be the trailblazers, the pioneers, the unique ones, the ones with the unique superpowers. Each and every one of us, we have a unique superpower, man. You guys get that? A unique one. 100. Okay, let's share this. I want to speed it up because I know YouTube has some rules around this and stuff. Let's make it 1.5. All right. Powerful. Okay. Super powerful. We're firemen. We live in the heat. We born for this. Okay. That's it. We're here for taking on. Let me take on some sorrow, baby. Let me take on some sorrow. Let me take on the karmic wheel of life and death, baby. Come on. Hey, some sorrow. Bring it on. Because I'm a bodhicitta connected to the universal heart of Buddha. And I'm here to raise up the consciousness, and I hope that you're here to raise up that energy within you. And we do it through no discrimination in the spirit realm. Not to isolate certain beings or tell them that they're, lower beings and higher beings. Let's not do that. Let's be practitioners of hemisync, hemisphere synchronization. Okay. If you know this, you know this. Okay. The four-leaf clover. Let's get it. Well, eight-leaf clover. Let's get it. Upward spiral gang. May we never be the same again. I hope you enjoyed watching this video, and may you never be the same again, guys. Really enjoyed this one. Let's keep being like these wisdom tsunamis in our own areas and codes, right? Places where we live, we got to bring this energy of Primal Sutra alive. We are connected to the deepest parts of us, to the most ancient parts of us, to that primal essence. And we keep it alive through our day and day. Let's get it. Let's